Hello everyone. I wanted to talk with you today a bit about the next step in your journey at Walden, which starts this week in week 3 of the Foundations class. And that part of the journey is the part that starts to form, and for some of you, you may have already taken this step, but starts to form you not just as a counseling practitioner, but a scholar practitioner. So as a scholar practitioner, you are a person who knows how to retrieve information that's helpful to your clients, that's helpful to your practice, that is based upon fact and good logical interpretation. So I'm going to tell you a little story to illustrate what I'm going to explain a bit about what you have to know for this week. So I want it to be crystal clear and not be muddy at all for you. So here's the story. There was a scientist who was the primary investigator of a study examining fleas. And so what he did was he trained fleas to jump when he rang a bell. So anytime he rang the bell, then the fleas would jump because he trained them to do this. Okay, so once he got the fleas trained, he took this first flea and he did the experiment part. And as a good experimenter, he wrote down in observational terms everything that occurred. So he removed one leg from the flea, and then he rang the bell. And he watched, and the flea jumped. In fact, it jumped almost as high as it normally would jump. So then he removed a second leg from the flea, and the flea still jumped. When he took the third leg off of the flea, it seemed that the flea kind of jumped sideways because he took all the 3 legs off of one side, the flea being an insect having 6 legs, 3 on one side and 3 on the other. But he still dutifully wrote down, when rang bell with only 3 legs, flea jumped sideways. Then he took the 4th leg and did the same experiment, wrote down what he observed, and then the 5th leg. And when he took the 5th leg off, and the flea had only 1 leg left, and he rang the bell, the flea didn't really jump. It just twitched a bit, but it had attempted to jump, I guess. Anyway, he wrote down when, without 5 legs, flea twitched when bell was rung. And then finally, he took the last leg off of the flea, and the flea, when he rang the bell, didn't do anything, didn't move. So the investigator wrote down when the 6th leg was removed from the flea became deaf. So what's wrong with that is that this investigator made a very interesting observation and jumped himself to a conclusion. And the conclusion was about the hearing ability of a flea. Well, that could be one of the reasons why the flea didn't jump. It could be that without legs, fleas don't jump. It could be that without all its legs, fleas lose their training or their education. There could be a lot of reasons why that flea didn't jump. And you don't want to be the kind of counselor who offers information to clients based on kind of poor interpretation and poor critical thinking. So as a way of us helping you, Walden, helping you, as it has been done for me as well, to develop the skills of critical analysis, we ask that you engage in academic writing, which includes study of scholarly material. So now comes the terms that might be something that you're going to see and possibly become confused about. So I want to make it crystal clear. Okay, there are 2 kinds of scholarly articles that you will be relying upon in all of the research that you do in the next couple of years in this program. One set is referred to as peer-reviewed articles, and the other set is referred to as scholarly articles, but not peer-reviewed. either of these under the category of scholarly are appropriate for academic writing. However, when they have been peer reviewed, then what that means is that they have gone through a very rigorous process of having a sort of a jury of the peers of the specialists who have written the article, have conducted research, look at not only the research that was done, how it was done, how the subjects were selected, but also their critical thinking ability and the hypotheses that they generate. In a not peer-reviewed article, then there's usually a rigorous scientific study that's discussed and information that is scientifically based that is presented, but it's up to the reader to do a little more of that research of really, was this done with a very good and careful selection of subjects? Is the hypothesis really robust or strong, and can it really generalize out to other people? For instance, a lot of research is done on students because you guys are just there, and a lot of research is conducted by faculty. So is it true that we can generalize things from behaviors that students engage in and the way that they react to things to the general population outside? Well, probably not. So it's important that the scientific basis of any facts that you learn and use in substantiating or supporting arguments in your papers and in your thinking and in when you choose therapy styles or when you choose techniques to use that are helpful to your clients, that you understand the basis upon which they were selected. And so the studies that you pick to really substantiate what you do and support what you do have to be strong, robust scientific studies. Generally, in the scholarly area, you can use either of these, but the peer-reviewed journals obviously have done the work for you. And so you can rely on them with a little more relaxation. Now, how you figure out what's peer-reviewed or not, very simple process in the library. If you just click the button that selects only articles from peer-reviewed journals, then that's what you get. The peer review process is explained to you this week in the learning resources as well. Now, down here you see entertainment. You know, in our culture, we love information. People watch CNN, they watch Fox News, they listen to the radio, they read magazines, they look at Twitter, they get information everywhere. We are the information age. Is the information that you get substantiated? Is it accurate? You know, sometimes you get something real interesting and exciting in your email box, and it's a good idea to run that by swopes to make sure, is it real? Or is this just some hoax that somebody has decided to play? So it's real important to understand that some of the information out there, although it looks scientific, is really offered for entertainment. And these kinds of articles are not particularly entertaining to read. They're kind of heavy. And these kinds of articles are much more interesting. Some of them are informative, and some of them are based on fact. Some of them are informative, but they're not substantiated, and not substantiated well. So it's real important for you to differentiate the difference so that when you speak, because of the social influence that you will have as a master's level licensed professional counselor, it's important that when you speak, what you say has weight. So that's what we're doing. If you have any questions about this before you have to do the discussion, please let me know. Talk to you later.